Yes, so I've had really an outstanding 8 school year run in Fort Bend ISD. It's been thrilling. And partly because I actually worked in the district for 11 years before, and then I left for 7 years and then came back in 2013 as superintendent. So in many ways, it was returning home. And Fort Bend is where I began and end my career as a superintendent in Texas. And so, really, what I want to do is just end well. I'm not going to be launching any new initiatives or any new work. Really, my goal is to make sure that the new superintendent has everything in place that they need to move forward successfully. And probably of equal importance is I want to make sure that the new school year for the 21-22 year is everything is in order to launch that school year. Because it's likely, the new superintendent would come in place late this year or in the summer, probably. I don't know yet what the board's schedule is. But regardless, a big part of my job is going to be getting the new everything, all the plans in place for the next school year. Well, so it all depends. Right now, I'm still talking to my wife quite a bit about what the future holds. I mean, we may just stay in the community, and I'll either just retire and then do nonprofit kind of work and contract kind of part-time work, or I might choose to go be a superintendent in another school district. And so that will really depend. As long as I'm living in this community, I will be a part of the community. Now, I'm not going to be interjecting myself into the business of the district as the retired superintendent, but I'll still participate in foundations and nonprofit fundraisers and just different things in the community, because in our church, those kinds of things, because that's important to my wife and me. But that's really if I stay in the community. Otherwise, if I move away to be superintendent of another district, then then the community would not be really seeing me much anymore. Well, let me begin with the last part of that question. There is always a lot that could have been done better. Because, I'm in my 15th year as superintendent, and I can look back to my first few years. I can even look back 8 years to my first year in Fort Bend. We're all lifelong learners, right? And that's why it's so important to me in our profile of a graduate that we teach our students to be lifelong learners. Because I'm not the same person I was 15 years ago. I'm not the same person I was 8 years ago. I'm not even the same person I was a month ago, because I'm always growing and learning and evolving. So I would like to believe that we've gotten better in Fort Bend every year under my leadership, because I've gotten better at working with the board. I've gotten better at leading the staff, and I feel really positive about the work we've done. The life of a superintendent, every superintendent I know, we could articulate multiple challenges. If you go even in this district, over the last several years, we've dealt with Hurricane Harvey, which was a major issue. We've dealt with, of course, with the pandemic, which has been exceptionally challenging. That's probably the most unusual situation we've ever had to deal with. We've had the opportunity, and really I would almost say the honor, of being able to address the needs of the Sugar Land 95, to be able to, because we uncovered those remains, we've been able to create a better resting place for them, and we're still working on that project. So that's been something that's very unusual that many superintendents never deal with. So I've had a lot of opportunities to learn in a lot of different things. And again, my goal has always been in all aspects of my life to grow, even through challenge and unique opportunity. Well, since I'm not planning to die, I see that. When I talk to any students, I always let them know, whether they're 12th graders or kindergartners, my job is to make sure they have the very best education they can receive. That's my job. And I do what I do because I love what I do. You may have read that, I'm a young person. As a child, my mother died when I was very young, and then my father abandoned me. So every single child is important to me, even those who are in the nuclear home with their mom and dad. where it seems like everything is awesome on the surface, down to the children who are in foster care and who come from very broken, challenging environments. My goal is always to set up systems in our educational system in the school district to help every one of them truly achieve their full potential. And so all I want our kids to remember me, you know, if you ever think back, or if any student ever thinks back on their superintendent, Charles Dupre, I want them just to remember that I cared about them and I cared about the systems that we had, and that I worked really hard to help them have access to a good quality education so that they could be their very best for their future. Well, I'm going to be honest, you know, my faith is very important to me. And so that's really been a key driver. But I also, even now, as I consider leaving Fort Bend, what I'm finding out is God has given me a unique set of skills and experiences and gifts and talents. You know, I think if you look in the mirror yourself and really reflect, you will see there's things you're really good at and there's some things you're not so good at. So all the way through school, I was really good at communication. I was on speech and debate. I was a very strong writer, but I was not really so good in math and science. I didn't like those things. I wasn't very good at them. If I made a lower grade, that's a class it was going to be in. Now, I still graduated at the top of my class, and I still went to college and was successful, but my gifts lie in leadership and authentic communication and being a natural, real person. And so for some reason, you know, short of my faith, I don't know. You know, I always just say, this is how God built me. I go back to that old song from The Greatest Showman, "This Is Me." You know, this is me. And I am who I am and how I am. Some people love it, some people hate it, just like anything else in life, right? And so I really just think God wired me to keep moving forward. He gave me hope. He gave me a future, and he brought good people into my life to speak that to me. Teachers who were optimistic and gave me who helped me to see that I could overcome the challenges to do better and be better. Oh, I think the district has excelled in virtually every aspect of our response. You know, I think because we've been very thoughtful and kept our students at the forefront of everything. Now, I will tell you, it's really obvious to everybody that back in, I guess, October, late September, we really struggled to go from 100% virtual learning to face-to-face and virtual, because there was just some systems problems that were not well developed and we didn't execute well. And that's disappointing because a lot of people, they remember that. But if I go back to March, I think our team did a remarkable job. Everybody from the campus level to central office to really put a good system together to get us through the end of last school year. And then I think we started the year very well, in a very strong position as well. But then we stumbled as we transitioned. But I think we've made up for that in the way that we've transitioned now from term 2 to term 3, because this has gone much more smoothly and without all of the challenges that we faced going from term 1 to term 2. Mm-hmm. So that's the only thing that's been the greatest challenge. But you know what? I've got a little note right here on my computer that said it is okay not to be perfect. Because we're just not going to be perfect. None of us are. Our systems will never be. But as long as we're giving our best and trying our hardest all day, every day, then that's all we can ask of anybody. Absolutely. But you know, a specific thing that I'm thankful for is I think we've got good education going on to the best of our ability under the circumstances. Our teachers are working hard, and I think our systems to protect students and staff in our buildings are very effective. All the health and safety protocols are working to really minimize the outbreak in our schools. You know, that's kind of the biggest question going around right now, because unfortunately the vaccine is coming in slowly. And I don't think we're really going to be able to have everybody back in the building until we can get the vaccine in everybody's arm that's willing and able to do that. including staff and our students. So I know the state is, they've got some good systems in place, but unfortunately they have not made educators a priority. And frankly, just the amount of vaccine we have access to it's coming in slowly. They're getting it out as quick as they can, but it is not happening quickly. So it's hard to know today whether or not we'll be able to get back to all face-to-face this fall, or if it's going to be necessary to still have two systems or not. We can't really answer that question today. Well, so here's the bottom line, right? On any given day, I get emails telling me, stop the madness, close the school, send everybody home. You don't care about everybody by keeping your schools open. And I get just as many emails that say, stop the madness, open the schools, make everybody come back to school. Everybody's going to be fine. Why are you harming our kids by letting them stay at home? So it's just people have opinions, people have their perspectives that are rooted in their own faith and their own politics and their own experiences and viewpoints. And my job, frankly, has been to do my best to keep the politics and opinion out of it and to make decisions that are fact-based. And so when I look at, we have a teeny infinitesimal fraction of our, out of 77,000 students, we might have 100 to 150 district-wide that have got the virus at any given time. And so it's not a huge number. It's a real number, right? Because that person is sick and it affects them. That's real. And that shapes their perspective and their family's perspective. But at the same time, when I think about the fact that we're really not spreading the virus in our schools, most of the people who come to school with the virus contracted it through their external activities outside of school, through family or friends outside of school. So we really try to walk the fine line of not being political, but as long as we can have school, then right now parents have a choice to keep their kids home or send them to school. And I don't think it's appropriate to take away the choice of the parents and the children who want to come to school. Because right now we've got about 50% of our students coming face to face and about 50% staying at home. And that's actually, we've increased the number who want to come face to face from term 2 to term 3. So I feel like we're doing the right things, and by not just listening to opinion and social media and in politics, we're trying to make decisions based on data and science. And I mean, I'm telling you, I talk to several doctors every week to help make sure we're making the right decisions. And so that's how I think we're navigating this in the right way. My job, I'll just tell you, I know on any given day, I'm never going to please everybody. Mm-hmm. So that's just something you've got to get comfortable with as a leader.
Thank you for agreeing to this interview. It was great. We learned a lot of stuff we didn't know about you. And thank you.
Well, thank you for reaching out. It's always good to be able to talk to students and